let's see. Today, I have us starting with a distance learning discussion with Miss Sanford, and I reminded Miss Seeks, but I don't know if something came up. We'll see. It doesn't matter. We've got Miss Sanford here because last month when we were chatting, we were all just kind of starting to lose it a little bit with distance learning. I know I myself am feeling that today. And so, trumpet is okay, right? Can you hear the trumpet in the background? He's doing a really good job.
Yes.
He is.
Yeah. I think he's got a recital coming up. I don't know. He doesn't tell me anything. But do you have any suggestions?
So it sounds kind of like, just from the little bit that you've shared with me, Alicia, it sounds like, there's definitely some issues with motivating the kiddos, but also maybe some help is needed in like remembering to have some self-care too for the adults, because there are lots of new challenges that we've been faced with this year. And we definitely need to remember to pause and take some time for ourselves as well. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? Yeah. So as far as motivating, it's really important that the kids have like a strict schedule. And I know that, a lot of our parents already do that and have that set in place. And it varies, like the ability to do that definitely varies. But if possible, on those at-home learning days, having a set schedule that, let's say, you work the morning and then you get home and then you're home with the kiddos that afternoon. Say, all right, 2 to 4, we're catching up on old assignments or something. And then we're going to take a break and we're going to do our PE activity and get up and get moving. And then we're going to come back and maybe get stuff ready for supper, and you can help with that and be doing some different things, or they could take a break. And then after supper, do another hour to do, the different work. But realistically, I don't think we need to be scheduling more than 4 hours. My understanding, Mr. Muffley, is that about 4 hours is kind of the maximum for work. But having just a set couple hours where we really have it structured, and maybe there's this chunk of time where we're checking old assignments, feedback, making sure that we've got it all done to satisfaction, because sometimes those teachers are sending them back saying, oh, we missed this piece or that piece, and then starting in on the new work. And that consistency is huge for the kiddos, which I know a lot of our parents already know, but it's just good to hear again, because one of the ways that we're successful with getting kids motivated here at school is that they just know this is the routine, this is the expectation, and it's very consistent every day. And that can help some of our less motivated get more motivated. And then also limiting the other activities that they might have access to. Like when they're home, they're used to being home, they're used to being relaxed and being able to watch TV or play with their toys or read a book. And if they're reading a book, as a counselor, I'm totally happy with that. But playing video games and things, they're used to having access to that. So it could be something where, we're just taking that away until we get it done. And just every day we unplug it, and you can just take the cord or the controller, whatever is easiest, and completely taking that access away, so that you're not constantly sitting right next to them, refocusing them. That could also be something that's helpful. Has anybody tried those things and had any success with it?
I try all the, Lana's a good student in school. And part of the issue with Lana is she is a student who is behind other students. And I myself, when she's home, struggle with helping her with math because I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that I know how to do. And so when she's like, Mom, how do I do this? I'm lost too. You know, and she's also behind on reading and everything. So it's kind of a struggle with that. She gets discouraged because she thinks she can't do it. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, Lana knows that she's not allowed to look at a TV or touch a toy or tablet until she has at least 5 assignments done. And then it's break time. Okay, go take a 10-minute break. Okay, come back. You know.
And that's a great way to structure it. If it's that where it's more of like that self-esteem and feeling very defeated and like they can't do it. If they're of an age bracket where they're able to read simple sentences and things like I can do it, I can try, things like that, you can post, like write little post-its, and it's more powerful if they actually write it, and then they can pick a place and you can just start to train them like, okay, if you start to struggle, just remember we look at our post-it, like we can do this. And those positive affirmations that Mr. Muffley says every day on the announcements are really great for the kids because they practice those here in school, and to have that transfer then to the at home would just help reinforce them and connect them even more. But maybe it's also something, I'm not sure how much each individual teacher is doing, but there are resources online, especially for the math. They actually have videos that walk you through the entire lesson and can be shown to the kiddos to help them walk through it and then help you kind of get an idea. Is that being?
Where is that, Tori?
My brain is for some reason completely blanking on the name of the site, but I'll Google it really quick because they actually have, it's Embark. Alicia, can you go under security and grant me access to share my screen?
Should be able to.
Oh yeah, I can. I didn't even try. So, so this is Embark. It's EMBARC. And they go through, so Lana's 2nd grade this year, right? And they're probably on, well, I don't know, module 3, we'll say. My internet's super slow this morning, guys. So then they go through here, and they've got different links, different resources and things, but you can also, so here's lesson 1. You can click on that video and it'll play and walk through, and I'll mute it so I can keep talking, but it'll actually walk through the problems on the board, and it's just the same as what a teacher would do. It's the same script and everything. So a lot of them, I think all of them have a video inset here, and it'll just go through the different steps. They highlight the important words to look for so that the kids know what to cue in on. They talk about bundling in this one. That's kind of the objective of the lesson. So there's just some different tools like that, but then they actually go through the problems. And this is for every single lesson, every single module for all of our grade levels. And you can also pull up, like if your kiddo really isn't liking doing the annotating on the PDFs for math, they can always do, I want to say it's the lesson PDF, but it's been a while since I've been in here. But you can print these out and help them out that way. And you as a parent, if you want to double check their work, they have the answers for the exit tickets and things on there. So this is a great resource for the math because it helps you as the parent understand how the teacher is teaching it, and it helps review for the kiddos so that they know what steps to do. Does that help, Jess?
Here's a question that I have is there's whenever we run into Raz kids, we just stall, and he can do it, he just gets overwhelmed, and that's just our thing. But it's that assignment where we stall, and I try to like do it early so that we can be done with it and then move on, but then our whole day is a drag, and then when I save it to the end so that he can get through everything else, and then it's like just this and then you're done, we start to get anxiety laden, because he'll get anxiety because it's getting dark, and it's like, well, if you spend 2 hours procrastinating this, there's only so much I can do. Do you have any suggestions for when you're just hitting that wall of like, this is your assignment, this is what you need to do? Yes, you can do it, but you just don't want to, and you're just trying to avoid it. I feel like I've tried everything, and we keep like, I've bribed with ice cream cones, I've tried changing the time that we do it, I have tried like lots of love and hugs, like I'll read one sentence, you read I've tried everything I can think of.
That's so hard because it's going to be so individual for the kid. You know, just general strokes, it's going to be a lot of the same things of, you know, taking a break, maybe depending on the kiddo, there you could try to explore what it is about it. I know sometimes with the RAS kid, it's the timed stuff, and that just creates a lot of pressure. And so talking maybe about the purpose of it,
It's
sometimes
just boring. I think it's just he doesn't want to.
Okay. Maybe make it more of a challenge then, because you can make it more of a game. And I don't know exactly what 4th grade RAS kids assignments look like, but maybe you could make it more of like a game where, let's see if you can beat mom. Let's see if you can say the answer first. Let's see if you can read it first, or you read a line and I read a line, so that it's more of a partnership. And it's going to vary based on the kid, because some kids are going to love, oh, I get a chance to read, you know, with my parent. And some kids are going to be like, oh, I have to read with my parent. So it's that piece is so hard. You know, but just looking at ways to, if it's boring, ways to make it more fun. And if it's challenging, finding out the piece of it that's challenging, and then really working on some positive self-talk and some calming strategies during it. Mr. Muffley, did you have anything else to add? Because I think you might know a little bit more about the RAS Kids piece.
No, I think you covered it really well, and just kind of going back to and reiterating what Ms. Sanford said, you know, as you're setting up, and it's been tough and a heavy lift for families, you know, and when we first started this, the structure is so important though, in how you set up your day and that consistency, even including in your recess times, just like you would at school, including in your lunchtime and being consistent with that. You know, all of that structure is just such a huge part of a student's day. Motivation's a tough one though, because you're right, Ms. Sanford, it's so individualized, you know, and it sounds like, Alicia, that you're doing all the different tricks that you can too. And we also don't want this to be a conflict in the home, because there's that fine line, right? You're doing the best you can as a parent in your house, you know, and we're hoping to get back to the 5 days a week here in school. And we don't want it to be a burden on, to the point where it's stressful in the home with you and your family, and it becomes a battle, because that's a really unpleasant, because you that's your home. So you don't get to go anywhere else really. Like that's where that conflict's going to stay in your home. So, you know, and that carries on through the day. So, you know, we just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. But it is so individualized, like Ms. Sanford said. So I think it's just, you know, you just keep hanging in there, and sometimes you find those things too, and it clicks, and you're surprised what clicks. And, you know, so we have a student here that today kind of clicked, and she's super motivated all of a sudden, and, you know, and she's really struggled here in school, and it's, you know, it was just a lot of trial and error, and here we are in December, and like this is a great day for this particular student, you know, and boy, I wish we would have had this every day, but, you know, we're going to move forward with what we have and kind of what we learned with it. So I think that's the same thing in homes.
Yeah, and it's important too to remember the purpose of the work at home is for them to practice and gain the skills. So like for RAS kids, that's a reading thing. Your kiddos are great readers. You know, maybe that's something where you can talk to the teacher and, you know, they're getting those skills in other areas. And I wouldn't recommend that like carte blanche, like if a kid doesn't want to do it, let's just do something else. But if you've tried and you've tried and you've tried and you know, tried a whole bunch of different strategies and you've tried them for a while, but they're still getting the skill that they need elsewhere, then maybe that's something where you can have a conversation. Because it's the purpose of RAS Kids is definitely those reading skills, and the purpose of Dreambox is the math, and just for that extra practice. But there's also a piece where I know a lot of parents want to give their kids choices and have that responsibility through choices, which is amazing. We definitely want our kids to be able to make positive choices and pick between a menu or pick from a menu. But it's also important to remember that when they're here in school and they're successful, it's because they're given a limited number of options. And so if you present the whole world to them, not just figuratively, then that can be kind of overwhelming and create more uncertainty and more feelings of anxiety because they don't know what to pick. Just like us with adults, we don't know what's coming. We don't know, you have 10 different things to pick from and you haven't got a clue. But if you have 2, it's a lot easier to make that decision. So that's also something to remember, just with kids in general, with this online learning, that maybe give them an option between, let's start with this assignment or this assignment, rather than saying pick which assignment, if that makes sense.
I will throw this because we've had success with this. Post-it notes. So before he starts every day and so it's, you go down the line and then you can have a 15-minute break. And then I can, because the teacher will list like all of the math and then all of the reading, and it's like, we gotta split it up or else we get overwhelmed. So I'm able to kind of separate out our day so I know what's challenging him versus not. And that has been huge because then he can see it all and track where he's at in his day compared to just it being this abstract, like how much is left.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's an awesome tool to use, kind of any sort of a progress tracker.
And 2, I know my son's only first grade, but we use with, thank you, Miss Sanford, for that recommendation of a visual schedule, because we do a visual schedule in the morning now to get ready for school, and that really helps. Like, instead of me kind of always saying, you got to get dressed, it's, okay, what's on your schedule next? What's on your schedule next? And then I laminated it, so I allow him to every day check it with a marker. So that's helped us a lot.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. I was hoping that it would make life easier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
it takes the power struggle out of it.
It does. It does. Because then it's just, you just reference that. It's not you telling them, it's the schedule telling them. So Mrs. Seek, what we've been talking about is largely some ways to get kiddos motivated at home, and to help when you just kind of hit against this one thing that they just absolutely do not want to do. And I've shared some, but if you wanted to jump in and share anything, you can, or.
Well, I'm sorry for not being on time. There was a kiddo that I was visiting with, and it just kind of spewed over a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of talk about what I've heard. Yeah, visual schedule, great. I was just working with another student today too earlier, and I had talked to her about, and forgive me if I'm repeating, but anyway, she had talked about some things are just hard, and so she gets stuck on them, talked about anxiety, I mean, what I would say is anxiety, and I just kind of said, if you don't understand one problem, just take some deep breaths, move on to something else. I just think that, if you keep looking at something, you don't understand something, you probably keep experiencing that anxiety, and, taking breaks, I think, is good. Not too long of breaks, but I mean, taking breaks is a good thing. Even like building in some rewards. So like if a child, they complete so much work and whatever you have as a reward, I mean, that they could maybe do that for half an hour, kind of like what we do in school. I mean, sometimes kids just need breaks, and that can be helpful, and then okay, time to get at it again and keep working. trying to think what else. I mean,
Kind
I
of
hope I'm
tough.
not just completely repeating everything that everybody talked
You
about,
know,
but
I'm really bad about this, and maybe I should change it. But I know Lana. Lana likes to lounge in her pajamas when she knows she doesn't have school. And maybe just getting them up and getting them ready like they do have school will motivate them, get them out of that pajama funk, bedtime lounge all day funk.
mhm.
Would that help? I mean,
Yes. Yeah, that's a great point to make, Jess, and I hadn't even thought about it. But yeah, it's kind of having that our day is started, right? Rather than we just kind of continue to feel very relaxed when we're in pajamas. But nope, we're up. Our day has begun. We're ready to conquer it. I know even me. So this year, as you maybe can tell, I haven't been wearing mascara because there's no parents here to see me. It's just the kiddos. So I haven't been doing that as much, but I feel like I haven't woken up as much, without it because I haven't fully gotten ready for my day the same as I would some other years. So it's the same for our kiddos. They wake up and they get ready, and it's a pattern in our brain that they get used to. So I think that's a great idea, Jess.
If you have a space in your home too, another really important strategy is to create their workspace. This is their workspace, and that keeps that structure. Like when you're here in this workspace, if there's if you happen to have a desk, a lot of families just are using the kitchen table, but that gives the kids kind of the place where their structure is for the day and their workspace is. And that may or may not work, but I think you have a lot of success keeping that structure too with that workspace. And you make it fun and special too when you can.
Mm-hmm. And I know that like sometimes it's comfier to sit on the couch and do things or on a bed and do things, but it really can be helpful just to make your body more alert to sit on a chair or sit at a table. And it can help them, with posture, especially for the older ones that have the laptop, help them with their typing skills and like the angle of their wrists and their arms. So it's less strain on their head looking down. And for the kiddos with iPads, like if they do want to sit on the floor, but you've got maybe a stool where you can put the iPad up at eye level, that would also help with posture and things so that they're maybe not getting as much of like sore, achy body from it.
I'll also use space like when we have our workspace, but then when we're getting really frustrated and we just need to like remove ourselves, like so this morning we were trying to read a book and it was just we were stalling, and so it was like, okay, let's go sit on the couch because we're just reading. We can set this on our lap. We can snuggle up on the couch and read as a conscious decision to remove us from this space because we were hitting a wall in this space. But then after that, it's like, okay, now we got to come back. So that's also has been helpful for me every once in a while when it's just like we're hitting a wall. We can move ourselves, and that physical space makes a difference. So.
Yeah. And then it helps you to feel like your day is done too, like you've left school. But
do any of you build in, I mean, this is something that I think is good to kind of break apart things too, is to have, like if you have PE time in there. And so I've kind of told my kids that we've kind of cleared out our garage so that they can have PE time outside. They could, ride the exercise bike, get on the treadmill, something like that. I think it's good. Exercise is always good. As well as like kind of a creative art time. I mean, if they're not, there for art in school, just to, I don't know if any of your kids like art, but gosh, during the pandemic days, there's a place in Bismarck, Art from the Heart, and they continue to post like different art projects and things that kids can do. So that's really good as well.
Yeah, I know that here at Heart River, they're doing art on the school days usually, right, Mr. Muffley? That hasn't changed.
Yep.
But there's always, you could ask them to tell you about what they've learned in art and do follow-up activities. And I know that for 3 through 5, Mrs. Riesinger has library skills lessons, and for K through 2, I almost always post a supplement with my lessons. But even if the kids just need a little bit of a breakaway, then I have my virtual office that I am continuously adding to. I'll pull it up for you guys and share it. The kids all have access to it in their Seesaw. If they've marked the assignment as done, like they've added a response, then it'll be in their journal. But they all have access to it. And there's a whole bunch of different tools on there that can help them take a break in a variety of ways. So sometimes they need more of that like alerting, and they need to wake up and get up and stretch and move a little. But sometimes they need that calming piece where they need to bring their level of arousal down because they're frustrated or angry. So this is what it looks like. And each time we have like a new lesson topic, we add a new page. But all of these items are things that you can click on, and then they open up. So this is like a yoga, stretching, there's glitter jars. The plants are almost always like relaxing music and stuff. But there's lava lamps. There are some parent things, and then the school social workers page as well. But all of the stuff, every item pretty much is clickable for another link. And so they use this in school. And I think I don't know if any of your guys' kiddos have used it at home at all, but I know some of them do, and they really like it. So like this is breathing. And then there's sand timers too. All the clocks and sand timers, hourglasses, those link to like a 5 or I think one's 3 minutes. And that can be a great way. You just put that up like this is our timer for our break. They can watch it and it has that calming effect. But they can also be doing something else at the same time. So that's just something else to be aware of that is an option. Right now we're learning about mindfulness and coping tools. So everything on this page is very helpful for that coping and calming. And it's great for adults too. I go on there and play stuff. So with that self-care, taking that break away, and even if it's just that they're settled in with, some work and they're working well, and you just take that 20 minutes or 30 minutes to just kind of zen in that one moment and not worry about all the things that you have to do still, or, think about all the things that you didn't get done or negative things from the past. Just focus on the current moment and what it feels like and relaxing your body.
On that first page, those words of affirmation, is that what you go through every day, Mr. Muffley, or is that something different?
These are actually different ones. These are from Centervention. It's like a computer game kind of. Mm-hmm. But his are on the announcements. And I don't think even, because this pops up to a PDF.
So the way they start every day, I just have the kids repeat after me. I am an amazing person. It's okay to not know everything. I make good choices. I want to do my best every day. I get better every single day. I'm an amazing person. And then I usually end with, you are amazing people. I'm proud of you, or something along those lines to encourage them. Because I'm a big believer in that mindset. I mean, just starting our day off in the right mindset. So the teachers will play that announcement because I do them through the video announcements. And when they have an opportunity in the morning, whether snack time or first thing, that's how we start our day.
I'm just wondering if that could be for my son, if I could do that on like the days that he doesn't go to school so he can keep hearing it. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of our teachers, actually someone brought it up last time. I thought a lot of our teachers were sending out those video announcements through Seesaw, but I see Christy shaking your head. So I will actually maybe do a reminder, because it's a really easy way. I mean, it's just a YouTube link. So it's nothing that would be difficult to send out.
Is it on your YouTube? Like, cause I know.
If you're signed up for my channel, just Randy Muffley, you can see them that way too.
Okay.
Yeah. But not everyone does that. And I don't expect people to, but we could perhaps push those out. So I'll remind, we have a staff meeting tomorrow, and I'll put that on my list to remind.
Okay. Just some things to like keep the consistency too, is if he hears that every day.
Yeah, we do the pledge, and I tell a silly joke. I became a joke guy this year. I've never been a joke guy in the past, but one of the kids guilted me into it. They said their former principal used to do a joke of the day, so I felt like I needed to add it to my principal repertoire. We'll
I
talk
put one. I put one of them in the chat box, the one that you begin and end with, Mr. Muffley. Do you want to put the rest of them in? Because I can't remember the exact wording. The kids always help me when I'm in the classroom. And it's kind of like if you've been out of school and you haven't done the pledge for a while, like you can't think of it on your own, but as soon as you heard those first couple words, then you're like, oh yeah. Definitely that way with the affirmations and me. But any other thoughts or questions or anything that wasn't clear? Are there any lessons that you would really like us to be doing, or any like parent education topics that like resources that we can send out to you?
I personally feel like Lana has quite a bit of anxiety. This year has been a change for a lot of kids. They're not used to it. You know, I think I said last time that they're adaptable, but they're only adaptable to a certain extent, you know, and when we overcrowd them with all the changes that have happened this year, you know, it's a lot. And so I feel like Lana is stressed and she has a little bit of anxiety, not just about school, but everything. So if there's something like that you can address, that would be nice. Some like coping tools, some like meditation or something, you know.
And that's exactly what we are working on right now, is that mindfulness. And so mindfulness it's often considered to be the same thing as meditation, because in order to meditate you have to be mindful. And so I've been teaching the kids that this is a coping tool. And so K through 2, they had an assignment 3 weeks ago, it was right before Thanksgiving, that had a series of videos, but you can also access them in my virtual office or just looking on YouTube for Mind Yeti, and I'll stick it in the chat box. But the Mind Yeti is just a fun character that teaches them about mindfulness, and it's all scripted videos, so they can listen to it on their own and walk through it. But we reinforce it in the classroom when I'm doing those lessons, when they can utilize it, how it helps their body to feel. And it uses some specific verbiage like hubbubbles. And it says that hubbubbles are thoughts, feelings, and sensations. And that sometimes those hubbubbles can turn into a hubbub, and they become overwhelming. And so the Mind Yeti's there, and he's got all these hubbubbles just going like this, and he's just like, oh. And the kids really respond to that. So that could be definitely something that you could utilize at home too with her. And with 3rd grade, we're taking a little bit of a different like initial tack to it, but they're also getting the mindfulness piece as we go through. We did a guided meditation, and same with 4th and 5th grade. And if you guys ever do want to look that stuff up, a guided meditation on YouTube would return a really good one.
I'm just gonna ask, Christy, how is Lana doing today with school? Is she on it, or is she slacking? Or I'm at work today. Is she doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing good today. She's turned in like 5 assignments, I think, 4 or 5.
And I feel like when she does, she works better for other people. It's mom who's like, you're not my teacher, I don't want to do this. It's our days off. But like when I have to work and she's at Christie's and Christie's helping her, it's a whole nother story. She's on it.
I use a lot of, this is what Miss Rouser has told you to do. Like, and I'm not the one telling, these are the assignments your teacher gave you, and these are what they expect you to do, because they will listen to the teacher more than they'll listen to me on schoolwork. I will also throw in maybe sending out parents along with the anxiety stuff, but like how to identify when your child is anxious. I think those are things that maybe we as parents don't necessarily have that training. You know, we did it when we were in school, there wasn't a lot of this stuff going on. So sometimes, you know, the kids might not, for me, it's like my kids will be feeling anxious, but they can't quite identify it, but if I can pay attention to how they're responding to be able to help them identify it, that can help too. But I didn't know until I started to learn it. So
Yeah, I'll definitely look for some resources that are just like easy and short, so it doesn't take up a lot of time, and that way hopefully that'll help too.
Would it help to have something like that in the monthly newsletter, like kind of a corner for that, just some resources and stuff? Would you guys like that? That's super easy to do. We can work together to do that and put them in there.
And you could also, with the not listening to because you're not the teacher, you could remind them that you're their first teacher and that you're going to be their teacher their whole life because you're teaching them all sorts of life skills.
Oh yeah, DJ pulls that one with me all the time. Because he'll come home or do his assignments and I want him to do a little bit extra. And he's like, but I'm listening to my teacher and what she told me to do. And I'm like, yeah, but guess what? I'm their parent and I kind of trump that rule. So I should give him to do just a little bit extra.
And they have lots of teachers here. So, that should be an easy idea. Well, you just have one more teacher and it's me. But
I mean, we taught them first. We taught them to walk and talk, right?
is there anything else, or can we say goodbye to Miss Sanford and Seeks and move on to some of the rest of the stuff we've got? It's not a lot left, but
We thank you for your time.
yes.
yeah, thank you guys for letting us join. It's been a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry I was late again, but you were in good
Okay.
hands with Miss Sanford.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah, there was no district pack this month, so that is going to be in January. If you guys have anything that you want to go to that, you can tell me. You can
When
Facebook group
when
or
is
let.
district packed?
What?
When is district packed?
I don't know. Jen's got it covered.
Jen?
Yeah.
Jen? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you don't got it covered, Jen.
Jen's got it covered. They just didn't have a meeting this month. So if we have anything that we want them to make sure she takes to district pack in January, we can let her know. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything new with our money report. Holy cow, it's kind of hard to see, but our current balance is $16,704.63. I tried contacting Logo Magic to see how things went with that. They haven't gotten everything processed yet as far as like tallying everything up, and then but once they do that, they will send me info and I can pass it along to you guys, and then they'll cut a check and send it to Heart River, as we did charge just a little bit extra for fundraisers.
I thought that was a great idea, and
Yeah.
William loves his shirt, so whenever we want to do that, I think we can keep doing that.
Okay. Was this a good time of year to do it?
No time in 2020 is a good time, but yes,
Yeah, but thinking ahead, if we were to do it again next year,
before the holidays.
before the holidays or closer, I know Lincoln does theirs a little bit closer to the beginning of the school year. Last year we sold stuff kind of over open house orientation, that kind of stuff. And then I unknowingly had the store closed before the teachers got their first paychecks, and the teachers were like, we want shirts too. So then we opened it again in the spring. So it's just a matter of when we want to do it, if anybody has preference. Otherwise, we can.
Yeah, I miss buying a shirt.
Are they in already?
Yeah, they should be in.
Oh, I should
I
probably
got an
stop there
email
then.
saying I could go pick them up. And when I went in, there was only like 7 left. So
I should probably go pick mine up then.
yeah, I should be there.
Slacking, it's okay.
Okay, the other thing that we had talked about was Mr. Muffley brought up last month possibly giving like $100 to each teacher to help fund their passion projects, and I wanted to make sure everyone kind of had a chance to see that. So I had posted in the Facebook group and everybody kind of said yes. So if you guys are all okay with that, I think I put in the numbers. So that's 27 teachers at $100 a piece. Is that kind of what we want to do? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I like that too. It's just a matter of, so here's the deal. We've officially approved it. If you need us to do anything beyond that, let us know. Otherwise, just give them the money. Okay. Fun run. Christy, have you had a chance to talk to Coach Kusi yet? If not, that's okay.
I totally kind of spaced it out at first, but I did send her an email. I'm just waiting to hear back from it. And if I don't hear back from her, like say we go back to Christmas or from Christmas break, I'll call her by phone instead or reach out to her a different way.
Yep. That, and then Jess, I'm gonna start getting more interested in starting on teacher various appreciation gifts in January after Christmas.
Okay.
If that works for you. So I'll be in contact with you and we'll get that figured out.
Yep. That works.
Okay. I can probably stop sharing this now.
If I
That's
sub, I usually know a day before I sub. They usually call me the day before, so but
That's fine.
we can figure it out.
We will figure it out in January. That's all I have. What we have from our principal's report, Mr. Muffley.
Did we talk about the fun room?
We're waiting to hear from we're waiting to hear from Coach Kusi on ideas as far as doing alternate versions. So we'll get that figured out next month.
Okay. So then it's Mr. Muffley now.
Hi again, everybody. Thank you so much for the $100 that I'm going to be excited to share with the teachers, and I know they'll be excited too. That's awesome. So thank you. It's much appreciated. Couple things I have. Coach Kusi is doing, along with Mrs. Tuga, our reindeer games. So next week, Monday and Tuesday, the kids will be in the gym again. We've done a turkey trot, and then we did our fall festival. So a lot of fun for the kids, and she does a great job with that. So just wanted to share that that's happening next week. Our student council did our money wars, and they raised $527, which is pretty amazing. So what we're going to do with that is their thoughts. The fifth graders are going to leave a legacy here at Heart River. So we're going to paint Ollie the Otter and the Go Otters, the more newer logo. We're going to paint that in the gym so that all of the students can see that. So the student council knows there is, I just met actually today, this summer we're going to have new carpeting in the rest of the school, which is awesome. And all of the classrooms are going to be painted. So it's going to just have a really fresh, looking forward to having everyone of you guys here to see it next year. Hopefully we'll be back in and you'll be able to see it, but we're going to have it all updated. So we're going to wait to paint the otter until after we have that paint done. So in the summertime, Mrs. Schmidt, who is one of our paraprofessionals here, does an awesome job, is incredibly talented. So we're going to have her do the painting in the gym. And then we told the fifth graders, the student council, that they'd be able to come back and anytime they want and check it out. So I think it's pretty cool. It's a neat way for them to leave their mark on Heart River and have something that'll be pretty permanent. So they did an awesome job with that. Our positivity project is going great. Hopefully you're hearing at home. This week the topic is self-control, the character trait, and that's a really good one for all of our students. And so we've been talking about self-control. And I was able to share Monday night's board presentation to the Board of Education. I had not really presented to them the Positivity Project, so I was able to share with them what we're doing with the Positivity Project here at Heart River. And my question to you is this: in our January meeting, would you like for me to take you through like a slide deck from one of the grade levels? So for example, I could share with you like what day 1 and 3rd grade would look like with self-control, so you might get a better idea of kind of what that looks like. It wouldn't take about 15 minutes. I could do that. Would that be okay? Alicia, can I have an extra few minutes to do that, just so you guys could see maybe what the teachers are doing every day and the students? Okay. I thought you might like that and just kind of see a little bit more of what it looks like in the classroom more specifically. Tomorrow, I'm going to actually do the Positivity Project with our staff at our staff meeting. looking into 2021. And so the slide deck for adults, because we really want to be taking care of all of us. You talked about the stress, as parents at home, and we all recognize that, and on our students and also on our staff and their own emotional well-being too. And they have done, I just think they've knocked it out of the park. They've done a great job. They've really stepped up to this online learning and what they've had to do. And I know they're here often on the weekends, and I'll pop in on a Sunday and I have staff that are in the building prepping for the week and stuff. And so it's important to me as a principal to make sure that I'm taking care of them too. So we're going to look into celebrating what's right. So this is just what we're going to be talking about tomorrow in our staff meeting. And there's a really cool video in there from a National Geographic photographer who takes the perspective of when he's taking pictures, the amazing pictures you take in National Geographics, and it's in our perspective. You can look at a field of dandelions and they look like a field of dandelions, or you can take that same field and you can take a different perspective on it, and it's just this beautiful picture. And so that's what we're going to do tomorrow in our staff meeting, just to keep our staff motivated. And again, they've been doing a great job. So but I just wanted to share that with you so you know what's happening here at Heart River. We walked around, Mrs. Wyckoff and myself, and delivered a little holiday cheer last week to our teachers and gave them a mug that told them they were epic. And then also to all of our students, they came home with a pencil and a holiday eraser, and they were pretty excited. We dressed up as I don't know if I was Santa, but I had a red jacket on, so I think I might have been thought of as Santa. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, Mrs. Wyckoff was an elf, and we dressed up and brought some jingle bells and just delivered some joy to all of our kids, because we wanted to let them know that we appreciate them. So
that pencil was a hit, Mr. Muffley. I don't know. That pencil was a hit.
Oh, was it good?
He came home and was so excited about it. I don't know. He loved that pencil.
He said he got an eraser, not a pencil.
We delivered with flair too. We delivered with, when you're going to give a gift, you got to do it with flair, right? So we had the bells, we had the outfits on, and so there may or may not have been a song. I'm not going to tell you.
Did you?
So it was funny. I did have to tell the kindergarten students they weren't suckers, though. They thought they were suckers, so I had some that were about to eat the pencils. But other than that, it went well. So, but that's what's happening here at Heart River in the month of December. And I want to let you guys know, again, I appreciate you taking time to be part of these PAC meetings and really having a vested interest in what's happening here. And not only with your children, but with the school. It just makes a huge difference. So thank you very much, and happy holidays. I hope you guys have a restful time. Try not to do any homework, okay? Enjoy those couple weeks.
So, nothing's changed on the COVID front inside schools right now.
No.
I know we have to, wear these 24/7 now, but nothing else has changed.
So not really. What is happening, though, if you didn't follow the Board of Education meeting on Monday, they are meeting again on January 11th. And I do believe that there's going to be they have been obviously looking at getting the students back here 5 days a week. And so I believe that there's going to be a pretty significant conversation on the 11th, and depending what happens, not so much at Christmas, but New Year's, because people get together at New Year's. If those rates don't increase, they didn't really as much as they thought they would at Thanksgiving time, the health department. So that was good. The positivity rate, I think, as of Monday was 7%, around there, because it had been up to like 15%. So to answer that, Jessica, I think that's what I would be keeping your radar on next, and I certainly will communicate that if the Board of Education decides that, yep, it's time for us to move back 5 days a week. I think it'll take about a week. I don't want to speak for them, but we need to have a little bit of a time just to make sure we're ready to go. But we're ready. So it would be a pretty quick transition back.
And then I actually saw, I don't know if anybody else saw it, but school lunches are free for every student through the rest of the school year.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. We were actually at central office, I believe they're working on the letter that we can send out to parents. So that's pretty cool. The USDA has made that available for the rest of the year. Thank you for sharing that. That wasn't on my list, so I appreciate you saying that. That's really all I have, unless there's any questions for me.
I was gonna say, that's all I had too, unless anyone has questions. That, and next meeting will be January 20th, 2021. So-
Okay,
Can I
and
can I
then,
tell you that we hired a new cook who was our assistant cook, Mrs. Radke, who was also our Otter of the Month.
Mhm.
And she made homemade chicken noodle soup here today, which I have sitting here waiting to eat it because it's just phenomenal. And the kids today think she's the best person in the world. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought up the lunch. Like, she flew out of here higher. I mean, she was just so excited. Today. The kids were like, "You're the best!" So I can't wait to eat it.
nice.
She's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. She's doing a wonderful job. I thought you should know that. She's awesome in the kitchen.
She
Is
was,
it
she
Carla
was really,
Radke?
Yes, yes.
She was our cook at Head Start for a long time.
Yeah,
missed her.
she's doing awesome, her and her team.
she was there last year, right?
She was the assistant cook last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, yeah. She was on it when COVID first started and we were doing lunches, and she was amazing then too. When
Yeah.
all the paras were helping out and stuff.
Yeah. So if your kids are eating lunch either today or tomorrow, you got to ask them about the chicken noodle soup. Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Alicia, stay in contact with me about the teacher gifts or whatever, and we'll work something out. But other than that, I'm gonna go finish my work day.
Alrighty, you guys have a good rest of the day and have a Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry
everybody.
Christmas to
Merry
everybody
Christmas.
and a Happy New Year.